The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 678. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have an amazing lady on the show today. She's a former athlete and musician who's been in the industry for about 10 years, and she is now the CEO and founder of Faceted Beauty, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Lisa Estrella Yang. Lisa, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Sheena, for hosting me. Very honored to be a part of your podcast. And hello to everyone who are listening. So my name, once again, is Lisa Estrella Yang. My friends call me Liv as well, so y'all are welcome to call me Liv. And I'm based here in Boston, Massachusetts, and recently founded a company called Faceted Beauty. So founding a company definitely is not easy. It's definitely a major journey that I'm still in, and that requires a lot of self-confidence. So I'm ecstatic to be sharing a little bit about my journey.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Lisa, what's your cultural background?
So I am Hmong American, second generation of refugee immigrants post-Vietnam War.
Thanks for sharing that. What'd be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I have to say, because beauty goes beyond a one-size-fits-all.
Thanks for sharing that great quote, and I believe that as well. Beauty is just it's bigger than that, right? Like, we all have our own beauty, and it has so many definitions and so many ways to show it. So I really like that quote that you mentioned. So thanks again. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. For me, the definition of self-confidence it is ever evolving, because as human beings, and personally, for me, I believe that we're spirits having a human experience, and we are ever growing throughout our life journey thus far. So with that said, my definition of self-confidence grows with me as I continue to grow. And what it means to me is owning your truth and allowing that truth to evolve as you grow.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Lisa, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
Yeah, absolutely. It was rocky. And I feel like life is still rocky, but having a different perspective on it now, that even though it's rocky, I see it more like a challenge, and I would even dare say an adventure. And I've been able to see life prior to my self-confidence as that, and the challenges before me that are to come as that, because of being intentional about building my self-confidence. So I'm convinced that before discovering another layer of self-confidence is fear and worry that perhaps you're not enough, or perhaps you're not the person who you really want to be, aka imposter syndrome. So it's scary expanding your boundaries and your view of yourself in the world, but they say that what you want is just beyond your fears. So I believe that self-confidence is ever growing. I see life in stages, and in each stage is an opportunity to further discover your truth. And with each discovery, as I mentioned previously, it adds to my self-confidence and helping me improve from each day prior.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think, as women, we are big worriers, right? We tend to worry about every little thing. And, sometimes we have to realize we're worrying about things that hasn't even happened yet. And the more we catch ourselves, we can learn to stop it, right? And what was that point in your life when you realized that you were more than enough, to go out there and build that confidence, especially, starting your own business? What was that aha moment?
Well, quite frankly, my aha moment was gradual. I think aha moments are different for each person, and also different per life chapter, if you will. And this aha moment for me, in terms of owning my truth, hence, or therefore my self-confidence, really came at a moment in my life, which was not too long ago. It was last year and this year, where I found myself hitting rock bottom. And rock bottom to me was losing my job a month before my birthday. I was working for a startup prior to starting my own. So, with the cycle of startups, there's a high percentage of failure. So I learned a lot through that experience of how it looks when a startup is failing. And unfortunately, that costed me my job. And that was my first time losing a job where I didn't know what I was going to do, especially coming from a Southeast Asian background with my parents as refugees. I mean, education is number one. There's a cookie cutter, standard of what you should be doing as most of us may know, lawyer, doctor, etc. And number one, just being employed. While I definitely didn't, meet that mark of being employed anymore, which was scary. So there's that. And then another layer was just going through processing a major romantic relationship breakup that I had faced not too long ago. So I was born and raised in Wisconsin as a second generation refugee immigrant. And then 3 years ago, I just picked up and left my entire community, my family, my friends, and moved to Boston with my then partner. And, he's a fantastic person, very intelligent. He's going to go far. Unfortunately, things happen and you grow apart and relationships can take a different turn. So for me, because I was building my life around this relationship and coming to a brand new city and environment, and to not have that relationship as my grounding anymore was scary. So here I am, lost my job, still processing this breakup. And we were together for 5 years. So still processing that. And, my birthday was just in a month. I'm like, damn. This is I need to ensure this is accountability now. I need to really ensure that I'm taking care of myself. So with that said, my aha moment came when I decided to be serious about taking time for myself to further break down, allowing myself to cry, to get angry, allowing myself to scream, do whatever the heck made me feel a little bit better, to heal and also to rebuild myself. So yeah, I was and I still am invested in being the best version of myself each day. So by allowing myself to go through that process, getting to that point of yep, I'm still invested in myself, was that moment where yeah, I'm invested in building my confidence. This is my rock bottom, and I'm convinced that the only direction once you hit rock bottom is up. So a week before my birthday, I felt like I was in a better mental, emotional, and physical position to just, start my beauty company, Faceted Beauty.
Thanks for sharing that. And, a lot of us hit rock bottom and sometimes we don't know how to get ourselves back up, right? And we feel like it's the end of the world. But here you are, it's just one hit after another. And you just decided to, take time to heal. And we all do that, right? We all need to heal. And, the more we work on ourselves, the more we can pick ourselves back up faster and go out there and, keep going, right? Because life goes on whether or not, you're fallen and you can't get up, or, no matter what happens, life just goes on. And you decided to start your beauty company, which is great because you're doing something that's positive for yourself and for others out there. And like you mentioned, the only way when you're down, when you're at rock bottom, the only way is to go back up. And I think most people forget that, right? We feel like there's no way of getting back up, but really there is, right? You just have to learn to pick yourself up. It's not always easy. It's tough. And there's days where we don't want to even get up, right? But we are capable enough to pick ourselves back up, right? Especially when, you hear stories like this, knowing that you're not the only one in this journey who feels that way, and that there's always, something better out there, right? When we can change the way we see things and think about it, it's always full of possibilities. We just have to believe in it and believe in ourselves. And because of your realizations, what's your life been like now?
Yeah, absolutely. So my life now, I would, to summarize it with a few words would be, after discovering my truth, and owning my self-confidence, it's it's been number one, a blessing, liberating, full of conviction, and continuing to do the most every day to the best of my ability. So holding myself accountable has been a huge part of the aftermath.
Thanks for sharing that. And if a woman's listening to your episode and she's in her own journey to self-confidence, what would be that one tip you would give to her?
Oh, I would say, hold on to your truth as you discover it piece by piece. And yes, you are right. You are worth it. So keep pushing forward. You got this.
Thanks for sharing that great tip. And if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do or check out some of your work, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Yes, please go ahead and check out facetedbeauty.com, where you'll be able to learn more about the mission and vision behind this beauty company. And it is ever growing. So we're vastly expanding our community, our reach, always looking for people who are down to help and just be a part of it in any which way that you have capacity for. And you can also find us on Instagram at Faceted Beauty.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Lisa, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Lisa's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Lisa today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you, Sheena. I appreciate you and your podcast.
Oh, thank you. And thanks again. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Get your free audiobook by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.